again, friends, and you are my friends, and welcome back to your halftime show with me, your host, Martin, and I am joined again by Steve and by Neil. It is halftime at Portman Road. Paul Lambert is watching the game just like us on iFollow, so Mick Mills, if you want to tear into him, you can. It's a perfect time because you're going to hear it. First half offered lots of promise, lots of individual pieces of good skill, but it is 0-0. I can see the chat box is lighting up. As I go to the chat box and start putting some things on the screen, Steve, what did you make of that first half?
It was good. I think some things to be worked on, but by far the more dominant team, looking more like scoring. There's some good individual performances out there. Namely, I think Lancaster's looking good. McGuinness and Wolfie are looking very, very good. Dazelle seems to be back to his normal self, so looking all right so far. We just need that final
bit of
product,
bit of oomph. Yeah, I agree.
Hawkins has been non-existent.
No, yeah, he has been. Mick Mills was very critical of Gillingham, saying it was the worst display he's seen. I think that's what I heard. I tell you what, hands up if you're frustrated with the iFollow service, because you're listening to Mick Mills, right? It's just going to get into a bit of analysis, and it cuts off. Either have the commentary or don't have the commentary, but don't give us that half and half world where we're listening to it and suddenly it just cuts off for your adverts on a service I'm paying for. Neil, what did you make of that first half?
Well, I'm almost wondering that I'm the only one out of us three that wasn't particularly satisfied. But
okay, so tell us why. What about that first half left you unsatisfied?
Well, it just felt so laboured, and every time I saw the ball go up to Hawkins, he was beaten to it. At what point did he ever look like he had the beating of any of the defenders?
He didn't.
And then there was a ball that we went down the right-hand side. So why is he over with the left winger? Are we just purely planning on doing one wing to the other? So he's got to be over there? Or surely you'd think, oh, we're breaking down the right, so if they're going to, put it into me, I'll be in and around the men on that side of the pitch.
Yeah.
Why are you never anywhere you need to be? And then Sears not doing the same. He had the same thing where he had a defender up behind him and always basically pushed him to a side and got beaten to it. And then when him and Edwards watched that player header the ball and neither even remotely went to it. And the touches, man, they just let them break at times, and it's just like, oh, you do it. No, you do it. Just show some positivity, and yet again, am I just going to say, what are they doing in training?
That is something we often say. JT says we're so slow on the ball, going through the motions again until suddenly we just find ourselves in their half. Rob Pooley is one of a number of people on Facebook. I've got several people saying the same thing. Craig being one of them. Bennett's for Sears. How has Sears played in that half for you, Neil? How are those free kicks coming off?
That's another thing. The drag wide of his shots and things. He's playing like with no confidence. There was that ball put over to the left, and as a defender, you're generally quite defensive in what you feel is going to happen. But you, as a striker, you basically you gamble on things. You prepare the fact that the defender's going to mess up, not make it, and you gamble. But Sears just every time he acts like, oh, they've got it sorted, and there is no gambling. And then all is left to do is just clap the effort. Well, That's not very useful, mate.
Steve, Neil's not happy in that first half.
No.
Make him feel better.
It's all right, Neil. It's all right.
I meant with some statistical analysis.
No, I mean, to be fair, there's some serious negatives from that first half. I mean, Sears is looking slow. He's looking off the pace. That free kick was god-awful. Because it was right there after such a stupid error by the Gillingham keeper as well. But for me, I think Hawkins getting done by the keeper, because the keeper obviously tried to play him and managed to somehow get rid of it. That should have been an easy chance for Town, and that was easily missed. Because he got done by like an 18-year-old keeper.
Holly Hawkins getting Cruyff turned by a goalkeeper.
Unbelievable.
whose first touch of the game was picking a back pass. I've not seen that since the late 90s.
That was fantastic, and I thought we've got this. We're going to be 1 or 2-0 up by half time at the rate they're going, and Hawkins got well and truly done by him. So come on.
I've got to be honest. I was having some chocolate cake, and I was just eating it with it, and I heard it in my head. What? I had to rewind it. So I thought, nah, no one does back passes anymore, Neil. That's.
He just wasn't up with speed of the game, was he?
Yeah, but
this
guy is
properly.
a young goalie. I don't think he's
Yeah,
ever
18
known
as well.
anything. So he's never known anything but this rule. So it's even more unforgivable.
I mean, fair play. That was a hell of a crunch on the main keeper. So I hope he's all right. So it was a hell of a knock. But the back. I mean, a big positive from this first half is the back four look fine. McGuinness looks good. He offers something going forward. Wolfie's calm as always. The Wolfie we all know and love. Chambo's looking really good. To be fair, he's pushing forward as well.
Yeah, Luke Maldini.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Luke Maldini. He, in that first half, Steve, he chested the ball out of the air like he was some sort of international superstar.
Yeah, he's refound his 25-year-old inner self again. It's awesome.
How is that back four plan for you? Because you've got McGuinness and Wolfen as the two centre halves. Obviously, I'll ask both of you this because Neil's played centre half for many number of years. Good for you in that first half. Different playing out from the back with them two. I know we spoke off there, didn't we, very briefly about Neil was still trying to get his iFollow sorted about how the two of them are very composed and will bring the ball out and just not look to throw a ball forward. Have they played well in that first half for you, that back four?
I think so. Yeah, Wolfie has been, like I say, the Wolf we all know. He's been calm. He's been collected. He's put some good passes around. McGuinness has done very well. He's pushing forward as well. I'm more confident having McGuinness and Wolfenden in the back four than I am Wilson and Nsiala, definitely. Even though I was surprised initially that Wilson didn't keep his place. Not Nsiala. I think, to be fair, they've sort of won me over. It's been a good 45 minutes.
Yeah, Neil, what are your thoughts on the two centre halves there?
We're lacking on actually seeing put under any real pressure. And I feel that, yet again, if the team we're against was better, then the midfield wouldn't be helping them out enough. But we've been lucky in that regard for things bouncing right for some of our players. But, yeah, they've played well. From what we've had to see from them, on the positive, they've done it and they've looked good. They're playing quite wide. You normally hear that you want your centre-backs to be, not to have too much between them, but we choose to spread them across the pitch and get our right and left backs to basically bomb on forward.
Yeah. We and this is what I was saying. We were away from home. Because we split the two centre halves and then expect Dozell to just drop in that central position.
But is that why we then go, where's our midfield? Because our midfield is too busy playing defenders while our defenders are deciding to go see you later.
Theoretically not, because you should. This is how it should work. Just this is how you draw it up. So you split your two centre halves wide. Andre comes in, collects it, turns on a sixpence. He's then got effectively four wingers because they are camped up in the other opposition's half as extra wingers. So you've got four wingers to choose from. So if you diagonal it, you should have a 2-on-1 situation versus the fullback. If you go into Bishop, you then get him to turn further forward. Again, he's got 5-6 options instead of the usual 1 or 2. That's how you draw it up. That's how you do it. And you normally only do it against teams that you are statistically better than, because you don't want to leave yourself exposed with flapping at the back. So it shows that we've got this command of the game, and I think we have got the command of the game.
Yeah. When we have broke down the right hand side, Lancaster has got involved quite well.
Yeah. Can we have a man beat Can we have a man that puts a ball in the box that beats the first man? I'm sick and tired of seeing a cross that just cuts out. Or
not launching it over the last man.
Yes. Stephen Ward put a lovely ball in the box for an effort where we hit the bar. Fantastic ball. He showed his Premier League quality there, because that was the first time I've seen a ball in the box and I've thought, just go and attack that if you're a centre half. Someone like, I know I'm harping back to the old days, but Murphy would have loved that type of ball, because as a centre forward, it's there for you to go and attack. But yeah, I do agree with you in terms of splitting the two centre halves. That is why I would look to bring a winger on, like Bennett's. if you are in command that much instead of a traditional fullback. Because if you're asking Stephen Ward to be a winger, which you are, put a winger on. Put somebody who has ability to beat.
If your wide player is good enough, surely he's going to beat the man. You don't need to have 4 players down there doing triangles.
Well, no, exactly. I mean, no, you do not. Or you need a midfielder that's going to be a bit more intent. Has Bishop been intent for you? Has he looked like he's got...
that was a question I was going to ask you. Is Gillingham a fast team? Because he's looked really slow.
I wouldn't say they're a fast team. They've got a few nippy players, but I wouldn't say they're a fast team.
You think every time he's got the ball out of his feet, a player's then gone and chopped him down? You think the other players move, and are you going to move Bishop or?
Well, Bishop needs to get in the game, doesn't he, Steve?
Yeah, I've not seen as much from him as I'd like in the first half. He's come in with a few good passes and things and runs, but I thought he would have been pushing more, attacking more. Maybe could have had a chance for a goal or 2. So,
yeah, I agree. Go on.
Yeah, that's right. I was going to say, going back to almost a while back, talking about the centre backs. I would be a bit concerned if we were facing a team like Sunderland, like Lincoln, Doncaster, how well those guys would be getting on at the back. It's an ideal first game to see how they work as a pair, and they're working pretty well. So
this is why we've struggled against bigger teams, because we don't have that plan B. We don't seem to adapt the way we play. We've been asking Wilson and Toto to split wide in previous weeks, where they're not ball players, and equally against better forwards, splitting out wide leaves you exposed, as Neil's mentioned there. As the teams, not just yet actually, so we've got a bit more time. Would you look to make any changes? Sid Driver says we need to crank up the pressure. We should be 2 or 3. Ideal game for Dobra. Is he a man that you? I mean, this is Stuart Taylor's game today, because Paul Lambert's not there, not in the stadium. He might be at the end of a phone, but Stuart Taylor's on that sideline alone with his own thoughts, so you might see something a bit different today. Would you throw Dobra on?
Not yet.
I would see at least Edwards go onto the other side, because the amount of times from the right hand side he's cut in, and he doesn't have a left foot really, so. What is he going to do other than, say, pass it into someone's feet or turn back out, give it out to Chambers? And if he's on the other side, I'm not convinced with Sears, and I'm not convinced with Hawkins, but to change both of them up in one hit's going a little bit extreme. Maybe just see what they're going to give them a bit of a team talk, see what they're going to give you, start the second half, and go from there.
Yeah.
Steve, agree?
If I was to make one change, it would get my words out. If I was to make one change, it would probably be Sears for Bennett's. But like Neil said, give him a team talk, because he's not played badly. So give him a team talk. If he's not changed for the second half, then Sears for Bennett's.
Okay.
But
right, well,
I'll start the second half as we were.
The teams are out, so join us at full time for your say, regardless of a win, lose or draw. Have your say on full time. Come on the show like us 3 here or in the chat, but we'll see you all at full time. Come on, you Blues. Bring home those 3 points.
Up until.
Play for Lambert.